9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi guys, by now you'd have seen our merch store and you're familiar with it, but hold on, what's that, Christmas stuff? Oh, hold on a sec. Merry Clopmas, mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, for men, women and children. Oh, that's nice, I like that. Look at the detail on that. But wait, hold on, there's more. Jingle. No, not jingle bells. It's Jurgen bells. Look at the Christmas tree with the trophies underneath it. Snapbacks. You know how it is. You've seen the snaps that before. Oh, it's a red one. It's a red one as well. Guys, you know what to do. Click the link in the description. Head over to our merch store and get your stuff now. Let's go.
Welcome one, welcome all. It is the Prem panel show.
Cracking up.
That took me by surprise so much.
I saw George's face.
That's what we do. It's Christmas, baby. It's Thursday night. You know what that means? It's Prem panel show time. Callum, Matt, as always, brothers, welcome. And it's MrAaron in the Mr. Happy in the building. And your boy George. Your boy George, what's going on, boys? What's going on?
All good. Well, yeah.
Good, man.
Not as good
Yeah. I'll let you touch on. I'll let you touch on that if you want, George. I'm going to give you a moment where if you want to touch on it, we can touch it. If you want to breathe past it, we'll breathe past it. That's
do we need
good.
to talk about it?
It's been a mad week, though. It has been a mad week. Obviously, we don't dwell on the past fixtures other than when there's two rivals. Unfortunately, KG isn't with us at the moment, but we're still going to chop it up quickly, obviously. Who knows? Maybe you wanted to miss this bit because I don't know, innit? I don't know. But there was a one game through the panel, which was obviously Tottenham versus Leeds. It was a game of two halves, literally, displaying exactly what football's all about. You got played to the 90th minute. So, George, I'll let you take this away. It was your team 2-1 victory for Tottenham in the end. Take it away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, the 3 points was the most important thing in the end. I know it's a cliche saying, but it really was because, like, if we had lost that game, we would have been in big trouble, just falling behind everyone. So, no, I was happy with how the second half went because, and I tell you what, I'd pay any money to see what Conte said to them in the halftime team talk, because what I was surprised by is the fact he didn't even have to make a substitution. And that's what most people expected. They expect Winks to come off, maybe Lucas, he was poor, maybe a couple of others, but same team. I don't know what he said, but it was enough to, turn it around and actually outran Leeds in the end, which not many teams do. So good in the end, just very, very, very poor, lazy start from Spurs. So, and we saw a little bit of that again today, but with the sort of second team. So
do you know, bro? I want to ask you a question because I know we at Kopish really like him, but I get a little bit of an indifferent view from people. Mora, I feel like he's maybe your third or your fourth best player. Correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously you're the Tottenham guy, but maybe behind Ndombele, Son and Kane, I'd probably say he was put it like this, I think he's a very good player and he really impressed me in that second half of that game. And I just wanted to ask you if you think he's a bit underrated, because he doesn't really get much credit. Like, how do you lot feel about him at Tottenham?
It's difficult for him, right? Like, I love him personally, but he is also very, very, very frustrating because there's been... Obviously, we all know what he did for the club in the Champions League and all that, which is incredible. But since then, no one can question his work rate. He's one of the hardest workers in the team, chasing everything, applying pressure. He's quick, which is great. The problem is, since that sort of Champions League season, that year, his end product has been next to none. Like, he hasn't produced anything in the last couple of years, really. And there have been moments, like in the first half against Leeds, where he will get his head up, go forward, which is great. But more often than not, he just runs into the players and loses the ball. Like I feel like he isn't able to distinguish the moments when to lay it off or when to attack, sort of thing. So he can be very, very, very frustrating, and it's very inconsistent. But there is a player in there. I don't know, man. It just feels like it's all pressures on Son and Kane to score, and he just doesn't offer enough in that sort of department.
Cool.
Sorry to cut you, Jeff. See, that's mad. This is why I like speaking to fans of teams, because obviously, George, you know Tottenham inside out. Like, unless they're on TV, all we get is like the highlights. And I'll be honest, I didn't realize he was that wasteful until you said it. And like, for me, when you guys signed him, I was furious because I really wanted Liverpool to sign him. I've loved him since he was back in Brazil. He went to PSG when it looked like Man United were going to get him. I've always been a big fan. I think he could have been really, really good for us as well under Klopp, and sort of rotate with Mane and Salah as well. But it's funny that you say that, and when you kind of look at his stats, it makes sense as well.
And yeah, this is the thing. Like he looks great because, and then this is why I love him, is because he's one of the very few players on our teams that genuinely, when he gets the ball, heads up and drives forward, which is what we haven't had in the last couple of years. So it's good that he does that. The problem is, more often than not, he just kind of runs himself into trouble rather than, and it happened again today, literally for their Mura's, well, funny enough, Mura's winner. It was a situation where he could have easily laid it off to someone left or right, but he decided to turn. He ran into two of their players, lost the ball, and then the ball ended up going the other end. Sanchez had a stinker and they ended up scoring. So it's a shame that he needs to work on that part of his game. Otherwise, he would be an unreal player.
Cool. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask that because I really rate him, but I didn't know, because there's a lot of people that you have quite a few players, Ndombele, Højbjerg. There's quite a few Tottenham players where people are very indifferent about how they rate them.
I remember, because I remember we had this conversation about Moore. I think it was us three guys, and I kept on saying to you, man, I think Bergwijn's got higher potential, and you guys are like, nah, Moore is better. And maybe you guys are probably right. I think at the time Moore was better, but even if you watch Bergwijn for the Netherlands, he does look a lot better. He looks like a way more composed as well. But I've always said this about Moore. Like I think Moore's got amazing ability, but the only thing with Moore, like what George said, is that consistency. That's what stops him from reaching the top, because he has all the ability that you need, as an inside wide forward. He could even play behind the striker. Like he can play wide right, wide left.
And his heading ability, by the way, is nuts given how short he is.
His jump is crazy, isn't it? Like it's mad. But yeah, I just think with him, he kind of needs to find that consistency for him to reach that next level. And to be fair, even Bergwijn as well, because I think Bergwijn's got a lot of potential. But
he's actually quite similar for us, that he, again, is wasteful with his chances. It's happened too many times where he'd do a great run forward, but just couldn't bury it, couldn't finish it, which is like a problem that Traore has. It's like they're very similar players where they're quick, they're good with their feet, but their finishing is more often than not atrocious. So I think if they work on that, they could be quality players.
No, definitely.
Fair enough, man. And obviously, I'll ask you something else when I get back to a Conte question that I'm going to touch on. But we're not going to touch on the game. I don't want to put Aaron through any more misery, but it's the first time we've spoken since the Watford game. So I'm only mentioning the game because it was the end. It was the time that Mr. Ole Gunnar bowed out, which everybody was kind of happy. And I'll be honest with you as well, Aaron, I don't know if the rumors are true that he wanted to do that interview, or if that is him being even more of a cooler guy than he needs to be and bailing the club out. But I thought that was kind of bad. He had to cry. And I think it was genuine. All bad aside, I think he was talking and he was realizing what had actually happened. Sometimes that moment of realization of like, oh, raw shit, I've just been sacked and I'm done out here. Like, how did you feel about that first, about him having to do that interview and the whole just how it went down?
Yeah, it is true that he wanted to do that. He suggested it to the media team, and obviously the media team said yes. But I agree with you, bro. I think it was just, personally, I wouldn't have done it. I think it was unnecessary. It was too much. Yes, we know you love the club, but you didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? If I was a neutral fan, I would have said, why are the club releasing this? Why are the club, kicking a man who's already down? Do you know what I'm saying?
What I said.
But that's what I said. Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here? Like, why?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Farewell speech.
the guy's already been sacked, and on top of that, the guy's sacked. He's crying in front of TV, and he's not won anything. If he would have won us 2-3 trophies, cool, even one. Okay, cool. You can cry. That's fine. You've won something, but you haven't won anything significant. Do you know what I mean? Your last 21 games at Manchester United were horrible. And for you to do that, I just think it was bad, man. It's a very, very bad look on him and on the club, because we're just looking like a laughing stock, or we were. I mean, people were comparing it to Big Brother. Like, I couldn't blame anyone saying that, because it really was. It really was. So
can Ole Gunnar Solskjaer come to the diary room?
10:37 a.m. Ole's just been sacked by United.
Literally, bro.
How do you feel?
Literally.
No, it would have probably started something like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sits in the dining room while everyone's having a meeting in the bedroom. You know, like, because they had that meeting in it where it's like, what are we going to do about him? And they'll just show him in the kitchen, like, making a cup of tea and just looking around. And then they'll just go to the bedroom and be like, he's got to go. He's got to go. But
He's
look,
got to
he's got to go. Like,
Rio Ferdinand and Guy Neville in the garden. They're still trying to back Ollie.
Give him the paper. Give him what he wants.
Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes.
Oh my god!
Did you say Rio Ferdinand and Paul Scholes?
No, Neville.
Oh, Neville.
Paul Scholes in the bedroom.
I told you, Gary, you weren't good enough, man. You weren't good enough, Gary. I'm telling you, mate. I made a huge mistake, yeah, taking that piece of paper and slapping it on the table on BT Sport. I done a huge mistake, Gary. Rio, I'm telling you, Rio, Manchester United. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer needs to stay. I'm telling you. I can't do the Gary Neville. That
was the best Gary that I think I've heard still.
All you need to do for Neville is the...
Bro.
Yeah. He's in trouble here.
When he's commentating, his voice is high in it. My God. Oh, man. So moving on to the actual fact that obviously he is dismissed now, and obviously the state of the club and that. To be honest with you, I was actually going to give it to Cal, but I'll just ask you first in case, because I might as well let you run with it. The Ralf situation, which is looking the more likely, do you know enough about him to want to take it away, or do you want to... Yeah, go to them, bro. Because obviously it's Man United, so I'll let you talk. It's your section, bro.
I'm actually buzzing, man. I'm delighted about the fact that we were close to, getting Rangnick in. It's a bit of a personal one for me because obviously he's German, I'm German. I grew up there my whole life, and growing up and going to school in Germany, if you were a football fan and you didn't know who Ralf Rangnick was, you'd be looked at funny. Like, people would look at you and think, like, what do you do in your life? You play football, but you don't know who Rangnick is. Like, he's a household name in German football. We could go through everything he did, from coaching to working at board level to working at scouting. I think for me, the most significant thing he did was, giving up the Schalke role he had back in 2007 to accept to go down to the lower tiers of German football and take an unknown Hoffenheim team at the time, promote them to the first Bundesliga. And I think in the first season that they were in the Bundesliga, because, in Germany, they have the whole winter break and then they pick back up in January. I think from the first half of the season, they finished top of the table ahead of Wolfsburg, who ended up winning the league that season, ahead of Bayern Munich, ahead of Dortmund. They were the revelation. And in 2011, when he left, obviously he left to go manage Schalke in the middle of the season. But prior to that, he'd done scouting work at Hoffenheim. And then Hoffenheim played an amazing season, even though they didn't finish in the top 4 in Germany, but they played an amazing season, 11-12, where an unknown Brazilian who got scouted by Rangnick was running riot. And everyone was like, who's this? Who scouted him? Ralf Rangnick scouted him. Well, what's his name? Roberto Firmino. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and another example, he was at Leipzig. And I love this guy. Another example is when he was at Leipzig. Again, Leipzig at the time were in third tier or second tier of German football.
Yeah.
Rangnick had the balls to go to a Stuttgart, who at the time, when the first Bundesliga, the top tier of German football, pick up a young midfielder, talent, very skinny at the time, very technically very good, very intelligent, and bring him down to the second, third tier of German football. Yeah, and then obviously they got promoted to the Bundesliga, and then Pep Guardiola picked him up from Leipzig and brought him to Bayern Munich. Joshua Kimmich, so he's got an eye for talent as well. He's literally a full package.
His talent ID is nuts.
It's absolutely nuts. I've seen a list. I've seen the list today float about on Twitter.
It's crazy.
I'm not going to go through it. You guys already know. Like, it's mad.
It's
crazy.
But Aaron, just for the people, let some of the people know. Some of the lists that you saw, some of the people on that list, if you can remember some of them. Like
Forsberg, Haidara, Upamecano, Mane, Haaland, Keita, Konate, Werner. Fam, the list goes on.
It's crazy.
On.
That's what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
Is that even his name?
Nkunku.
Well, and he's
PSG.
He's busting it now.
Oh, bro.
And mad.
It just shows he's got all of that, but on top of that, he's got a knife for talent as well. So I'm absolutely delighted that he's not only coaching for 6 months, but he's got on top of that, he's got that consultancy role. Sabitzer as well. I think that's
the most important part of the deal. Not even him becoming because at the end of the day, you're targeting someone else probably for the full-time role. Like him actually coming in.
Consultancy role. Yeah,
that's huge.
That's huge. And the thing with Rangnick is, I firmly believe he actually enjoys working behind the scenes more than coaching. That's what I believe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So I don't know how he managed to struck that deal with Man United to coach and then move up to board level. I don't know how they did this.
Yes,
I'm actually surprised that Manchester United are actually making the footballing decision. Like, I'm still baffled. Like, how did this happen? How did this come about? But then obviously rumors are circulating that, a few years back, John Murtough, who's now our new director of football, something like that, was talking to Rangnick. Actually, the season 19-20, our first game of the season against Chelsea, we won 4-0. And at Hotel Football, I met Rangnick. He was there. And that was around the time we were rumored to have a DOF, and he was there for talks. But then the talks collapsed because they didn't want to give him enough power because Woodward at the time was like still there. He hadn't made a decision yet to leave. And yes, all of a sudden today, the rumors come about again. Boom, and he's there. And I'm absolutely delighted that he's coming. We're about to witness a proper cultural reset. Like, the right players are going to come in now. The right manager's going to be appointed. Yeah, man, I'm happy, bro. I can't wait for him to come in. Obviously, he's not going to be there for Chelsea because of work permit reasons. But I think for the Arsenal game on Thursday, he's going to be there. So,
or Arsenal.
Do you know what's mad as well? Like, you have to bear in mind, like, if you look at your squads, the amount of players that you're going to need to get to have that guy in your boardroom. Like, because think about what Cavani's contract's ended. It's going to end. Sorry, at the end of the season. Ronaldo's only going to have a year left, so you're going to need forwards. You're still going to need the DM. You're still going to need like a centre back or whatever. Like, and if you've got him trying to find these hidden gems or whatever and create a team, and then if he's part of the decision as well for who your next manager is, boy, it's going to be mad.
That's what I was going to say.
And people.
No, go on.
Yeah, and obviously people call it the University of Rangnick. And the graduates are just ridiculous as well. Your manager, Klopp, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Marco Rosa, who else? Per Mertesacker now, who's doing his coaching badges at that same coaching school. Who else?
I'd even say probably, I don't know, Jesse Marsch
from Leipzig now.
Yeah.
So many managers. It's just ridiculous, man, how one guy can influence so many people, and they're literally using his blueprint and just adding a whole twist to it. Hansi Flick. Bro, the list goes on and on. It's just crazy.
Basically, every major German manager,
that's
much.
It is crazy.
That's mad.
I think you hit nail in the head. I think with Rangnick, he's seen as like the godfather in terms of like his tactics and what he brings, his leadership. I'll say in a coaching role, I think he was good, but not amazing. But what it is though, his philosophies and his ideas are absolutely second to none. And I think the consultancy role is, as you said, I was going to fit you down to the ground because, as you said, you need a reset. Man United don't have an identity. He's going to give them one. And every club he's gone to, he's given them an identity. He's even helped the coaches that you just mentioned. He's given them an identity to work with, how they want to kind of, advance that or change certain things. That's up to them. But it all lies with him. So even everyone knows about the gegenpressing. that was him. That was his philosophies, his ideas. That's where that stemmed from. And I'm not saying necessarily Man United are going to just use that, but you will see though some ideology that they will take from him, and he's going to give them some clear direction. And when it comes to identifying players as well, he's spot on, because this guy knows what is needed to win at the highest level. And I think even if he was to get in a Ten Hag or whoever that may be, that coach is going to understand that Ralf is the guy. Listen to what he has to say, bring that on board, and I think that's definitely going to help Man United in the long run. I think him coming in as manager for 6 months is a smart move because he stabilized everything. Then he's like, listen, I'm going to go upstairs now, and the next guy that comes in, I'm just going to give you guys my ideas. You can take them on board if you want to, but I'm showing you the proof is in the pudding. So if you believe what I say, it might take you somewhere. So I think it's a win-win situation. In my opinion.
The board will lick their lips as well, because you'll probably find some cheap deals on players rather than
absolutely,
rather than the 80 million, 100 million, whatever.
Definitely. You know what I think as well. Sorry,
go.
What I wanted to say as well is just to add on to what Matt was saying. I actually think that Rangnick just wanted the consultancy role, but Manchester United probably said to him, listen, we need an interim coach. And he was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll just take it. Like, I don't even think he wants the coach. That's what I think. But his coaching methods are actually good as well. So it might benefit us now, but also long term. So it's a win-win situation for us.
I think it's for me, it's the fact that, like, if you think about who, like, other candidates for interim manager, bearing in mind you've specifically said you want an interim before full-time, because the thing is you can't look, it's not looking like you can get Poch halfway through the season, you can't get Rodgers halfway through the season, or Ten Hag doesn't look like he's going to leave halfway through this. Like, it's going to be difficult to get like the proper replacement you need right now at this point in the season. So at the options that were available for interim, he's got to be like miles ahead of everyone else. Like, that's the kind of guy you would want for the meantime until those other sort of managers kind of become available.
Well, I mean, all right, on that note, Cal, and then I got another question about Man United's philosophy with him coming in and changing things. But Cal, just first, even if he doesn't want to be a coach, is there a sticky situation with any interim that comes in? Just like with Solskjaer, who's a perfect example, where if they do too well, you almost can't let them go, or you almost feel kind of like you have to persuade them to take it because there's a worry you're disrupting something that's actually could end up being amazing. Like, is that a sticky situation for interim in general, and obviously especially with Man United?
I think it's only sticky if the two parties don't have a mutual understanding. I think the problem with Ollie was he was brought in as an interim, but there was no plan after Ollie. So when he did well for the first section of his tenure, it was an easy choice for them to say, right, Ollie can just stay then. Whereas now the plan is Rangnick comes in as interim, then moves up to board level, but we have to get someone in place. So Rangnick is the guy who comes in, steadies the ship, and it gives them that flexibility and that time to actually find the right candidate. Whether it works out in the future or not remains to be seen. But the interim thing for me only becomes a problem when there's no plan after it. It's the same thing that happened when we got Kenny. We got Kenny as an interim. He did well in that period where he was interim manager after he took over from Hodgson. We didn't know or have a clue who he wanted after Kenny. So he said, yep, Kenny keeps it. Didn't work out for us in the long run. I think you look at people like Hiddink, you look at Benitez when he was at Chelsea. I think Roman probably does the interim stuff the best, where he says, right, this is what you're doing. You're coming in and this is what you're doing. And Hiddink, Rafa, thanks for your services. Off you go. The two times where he hasn't done that has been Di Matteo, and that kind of blew up in his face. But Tuchel, he's doing it with now, and it seems to be working out. The difference between Tuchel and Di Matteo is that Tuchel is way more qualified for the job than Di Matteo ever was. Yeah. So I think it makes sense for an interim if the parties understand where each other lie.
Fair enough. I mean, and then, Aaron, let me give you a scenario. And obviously, this is based on if he could be convinced, because maybe he wouldn't even want it. But let's just say he comes in, he takes over. Within a month or so, he literally has got his ideas across. Man United do go on a mad one. You actually end up putting in a very good Champions League run. You end up putting in a very good league run, and he wins you the FA Cup. How at the end of the season do you disrupt that? Because that would mean he was beautifully taking you in the right direction. another manager's going to want to change things and all that. Like, what would be the scenario, do you think, if that happened?
I think regardless of what happens, even if we win a trophy, I don't think he wants the permanent role. I think he really wants to change things at board level at Manchester United. So I could see something, because I was early on I was on Rance's channel earlier and we were speaking about it. And someone said that one of the scenarios could be, like you said, we win a trophy, and then he goes up to board level, and he brings in someone who is familiar with his way of thinking in terms of playing football. So I can see someone like a Hasenhüttl coming in.
Okay.
I could see someone like I don't know, maybe Jesse Marsch could be persuaded. Someone who's familiar with the Red Bull model, let's say, or who's been through the Red Bull model. I can see him do that. So
Nagelsmann might, if he's done with Bayern Munich.
Exactly. Yeah, when he's done with Bayern, he could be persuaded to come. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to keep that. It's going to be Manchester United, but obviously there's going to be an element of this Red Bull way of playing football, if that makes sense. So I think regardless of what happens, I think he want that board level job.
That goes on to the actual next question I was going to ask you about before we move on from it then. So the United way. I know a lot of people think, what is the United way? United way is supposed to be winning, rare. But there's been a lot of back and forth between United fans themselves, other fans, rivals, whatever. But I guess you do still have a kind of United way. You've got all the old boys, you've got all the, passing it down kind of thing and all that. So if he's going to come in and totally rip this up, is everybody at Man U going to be okay with this?
No, but I'm happy that nobody's going to be okay with this, because we've needed this for a long time, bro. We've needed to get rid of this. How do you even call it? This DNA talk. We've had to get rid of this for a long time, and we've been way too reliant on it. We're starting to at one point we were starting to turn into how you guys were seeing it at Liverpool at some point, constantly talking about the past, constantly, and this is no disrespect to Fergie. Constantly mentioning what he did in the past. Yeah, but when Fergie was here, we did it like this. When Fergie was here, we did it like this. At some point, you need to get rid of that and move forward. When 2021, that's why I'm not surprised that Ollie came in and started to think he was the next Fergie, because his methods were exactly like Fergie's methods. But the only difference is Ollie didn't understand that we're in 2021 now, almost 2022, and you're still applying tactics, ways of thinking, style of playing, man managing from the early 2000s, bro. It's not working. And then you're surprised when you get slapped up by team 6-1 last year against Spurs, 5-0 against you guys this season, 2-0 against City, but you get absolutely played off the park. Why are you surprised, Ollie? You're employing old methods, and it's one thing employing old methods and recognizing it and saying, you know what, yeah, maybe I should change something. But Ollie was stubborn, bro. He believed that he could actually change something. He promised us when we lost to Man City and then the international break came. More the tactics.
We should have put in more the tactics tax on there as well.
When we lost 2-0 to Man City, and this is something that really annoyed me. We lost 2-0 to Man City. Fair enough. There's a lot of players that go on international duty. That's fine. Cool. Why is everyone going on holiday? Why are we acting like we didn't just get embarrassed by two of our biggest rivals in front of the whole world at home twice in a space of 14 days, 13? And everyone just goes on holiday and think it's all right. What, we're going to come back and everything just magically going to be okay? And this is the narrative, and this is the illusion that Manchester United players, coaches, staff have been living under, because every time we lost the game, it was just, yeah, no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Put out a little apology on Twitter. We're sorry. We go again. And everyone thinks everything's going to be okay. I'll give you an example. The Atalanta game. I was there at the stadium. First half. You guys have seen it on television. Terrible first half. That first half is on par with the Watford first half. Some of the worst football I've seen. And then obviously we come back and win the game. Ronaldo wins it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sits there in the press conference post-match, yeah. And you know what he said? About the first half, he was like, "Yeah, we were just unlucky. We lacked that cutting edge." No, Ollie, we weren't unlucky. We were terrible. So
I missed that brother so much. I missed him so much.
I ain't ever seen anyone make Ronaldo do apologies on social media except for this Man United team.
I miss him already, man.
If he would have done that at Real Madrid, they would have killed him. Like, but anyway, this is someone who doesn't just recognize his mistakes, but he's consciously choosing to just sweep them under the carpet, and just go, you know what? Nah, it's gonna be fine. We'll be all right. I've got good players. I'll be fine the next game. And we were kind of fine because the next games, little teams will scrape it, win 2-1, win 1-0, win 3-2. But then we come up against the big boys again, smack. We get slapped again. So throughout his entire tenure, Ollie hasn't learned anything. And this mentality that we have now, I hope Rangnick comes in and just gets rid of that mentality, that defeatist mentality that we have. Scott McTominay coming out and say that we're underdogs in every game. Things like that, coming out with apologies after games. And we need to stop all of that now. It's a clean slate for everyone. But what I like about Rangnick is he's going to come in and demand respect. And there's going to be a whole lot of emphasis on discipline. Oh, my days. Whoever's not disciplined, you will not play. And I'm speaking for myself because I've got favourites in this squad. My favourites are Pogba and Martial. But you know what? If them man don't work hard, you're not going to play, mate. It's as easy as that. And I like that. So, yeah, man, I think Ollie was just oblivious to a lot of things, innit? He wasn't helping himself. So when I hear people say that it's the Glazers' fault that he got sacked, no, it's his own fault. He was stubborn, didn't want to listen to anyone. When people were criticizing him, like Van Persie was clapping back instead of just staying calm and not responding. People are criticizing you. You're coming out on press conferences criticizing them back and forth like your kids. Like, no, like all of that.
There was a lot of madness at Man U, especially with all the old pros. I'm kind of glad a lot of the Liverpool men kind of don't. We know they support Liverpool, but they don't make it so bait. All the old United boys were really making it bait in the last couple of months, man.
They were.
And this is another thing I wanted to touch on. All the ex-players you mentioned. It's a good thing you mentioned it. All the ex-Manchester United players, yeah. It's a good thing that someone who's not played for United and doesn't know the club and doesn't have the Manchester United DNA is coming in. I like that because I want to see what these men have to say now. I want to see what they have to say on television about this appointment. I had to sit there, on Twitter yesterday and see Peter Schmeichel talk about Steve Bruce should get the job. And I'm just like, are you serious?
Give it bro say.
I push that narrative.
Actually being serious.
So good.
And this is why for me, it's so dangerous. Like ex-Man United players that have a big platform or that keep getting invited onto big platforms are dangerous, bro, because they control the public opinion of Manchester United fans. If Peter Schmeichel comes out, if let's say we never had anything to do with Rangnick, we never had any talks, he never came, and he stayed at Lokomotiv Moscow in Russia. Cool. Imagine, Peter Schmeichel for 2 consecutive weeks comes out and says, Steve Bruce. The casual Man United fan that just follows everything blindly will be like, hold on. This is Peter Schmeichel. He's a legend of the club. He won the treble with us. He played football professionally for X amount of years. Oh, you know what? Nah, he played the game, bro. He must know what he's talking about. Steve Bruce. Give it to Steve Bruce. Do you see what I'm saying? So, no, but it's
and
true.
Then Gary would jump in and go, well, you know what? He's an expert at stopping relegation, so maybe he can stop the rot.
Give it bro say.
Give it bro say.
Someone else will say it, then someone else will say it. And before you know it, we would have ended up with Steve Bruce, bro. So I'm happy. Happy that it's someone. I'm happy that it's someone that has nothing to do with the club. So there's no sentimental attachment. So he's not going to care about academy product. Maguire's the captain. He's played excellent. He doesn't care. Discipline first. You follow my plan. If you don't follow my plan, you're not playing.
No, that's good, man. Matt, you had your hand up. Did you want to chime in, bro?
Yeah, there's something I wanted to say. So, all right, so hear this now. What I think Man United have done is really good, and I think it's going to benefit them. However, I'm going to put my Liverpool cap on, and I'm going to throw in this little bit of shade. Not to Aaron, but to Man United as a whole.
Yeah.
I am begging Ed Woodward is still there in terms of if he's still there, Ed Woodward, because I think he's another big name that I think Man United need to get rid of. Because all I've seen so far is Ralf in the headlines, which is right and rightly so, him get the job. However, if Woodward is still at the club when all this is happening, I think rival fans are still going to be a little bit, they're going to cling on to that. Because I know I will. Because Aaron knows this, and this is why I'm saying this. For Man United to really, really start something fresh and new, even Ed Woodward needs to go. He needs to go. He's not good enough for them. We know this as a big club ourselves. So, all jokes aside, I think if Woodward is to stay, I think there could be some issues there unless they kind of side with Ralf. But I think, again, people kind of sleep on the Woodward thing because he was supposed to be leaving, and then it got changed to I think he's going to go upstairs or something, he's going to do something else. I don't know if you know much about.
He's going to become the assistant or second.
So what? I was going to ask Aaron. What's he doing? Yeah.
So he was meant to leave, but then he said that he's going to stay longer and then get a consultancy role. But now Rangnick's getting the consultancy role. So in my head, I'm thinking when Woodward goes, he's just leaving for good. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I hope so.
If that's the case, then
what I saw earlier in the week, or was it early week or last week? Because obviously he was supposed to leave at the end of this calendar year, but then obviously now that the Super League chat has sort of died down, he's thinking. I think he came out saying he's basically going to become like an assistant director of football, whatever it was, like a second man in charge sort of thing, which is not good for the club at all. Because that means he's still going to be involved in all the decisions when it comes to the football side of things.
Yeah,
I mean, just quickly with Ralf coming in, Aaron, do you know if he's bringing his own staff, or is Carrick and Mane going to still be around?
Yes, he's bringing in his own staff. There's one of the guys that I was looking up earlier. I just looked at his CV. He was assistant manager at Leipzig, assistant manager at Bayern, assistant manager at Leverkusen. So he's bringing in good people. So I've wanted these guys out anyway. Carrick, McKenna, Phelan, get them all out. We need to get rid of as many people as possible that had anything to do with Ollie. Get them all out.
Yeah, go, Cal, go.
I swear Jamrock read my mind. I knew Jamrock was going to chime in on this. So Woodward's meant to be a commercial genius, though, isn't he? Like
he
from
is,
a commercial.
Yeah.
I knew Jamrock was going to lead down this rabbit hole. He would take Woodward at Liverpool. I'm not saying I would, to get those fantastic commercial deals. Do you think there's a chance that he stays in a commercial capacity, or is the damage just too far gone now with Man United and his reputation at that particular club?
You know what? I've always said, when it comes to the commercial side of things, Woodward can stay because he's getting the deals done, the commercial deals, the whole thing with the stock exchange in New York. That's fine. As long as he's not involved with anything related to football. I don't care if he stays or goes, honestly.
I want him to stay.
He is pretty good. He is pretty good at the commercial side.
Just dripping some little ideas, like
this on there.
No, it'll be like the mold that you just keep painting over, and you think you're good for 2-3 months, and it just creeps back through. You know what I mean?
Just like, Cavani's leaving. I think Dzeko's available at the end of the season. What? Let me.
He already knows what it's like to live in Manchester. It's a good experiment.
Exactly.
Just quickly before we move on, Cal, have we got any super chats to get through, bro?
We have indeed. So we've got Bassett. One says Black Friday sale on fridges. United paid 85 million for one. Amrock says Woodward is great, but he's in the wrong role. AM says I'm peed off because I wanted Ralf to replace Edwards at Liverpool.
Okay.
Also, Ralf is going to be their Houllier. No shade, he'll imprint their way of playing and break away from the past like Gerard Houllier did, taking over from Roy Evans.
I agree with that, you know.
Before we move on, are we all in agreement that Man United are finally going to get it right, and it is kind of annoying?
Early to say.
This is the first step.
It's so dependent on like the actual manager at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, quickly before we move on, let's just quickly touch on, was it a fortnight now of Conte? Just briefly. How you feeling about him overall, George? Now that the dust has settled a little bit, like, what's the feeling now?
No comprende, no comprende. Like, I obviously do care about the result from today because, like, I'm a Spurs fan. Of course, I'm going to care. It doesn't matter what competition, who it is. If we lose, we lose. Like, I hate it. But what I do like about it is his response, and that he's actually going in already, just being like, well, I just seen he used an analogy. What was he was like saying? Oh yeah, he was like, I always like to say you can work, like work is what I say the most. Work. And he was like, put it this way: you can push a car as much as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't go anywhere because it hasn't got the capacity to do it. It's basically what he just said in his press conference. Big hint space. And look, every single Spurs fan saw it today. We put out our second team apart from Kane because our backup is a 17-year-old that's injured, so he had to play. And I swear to God, I think because I'm too emotionally attached to Spurs, I thought our squad was decent. Like, I thought some players are good and I was excited about. Bro, man, it was eye-opening to see how poor some of these players are. Dele, for the third manager in a row now, looked atrocious today. Didn't look like he cared. Awful. And
He fell off a cliff. That's got to be the biggest fall from grace of any footballer I can think of.
Crazy, injuries, I think, have really done him dirty because I think...
I think it's attitude as well.
It is. I've heard injuries and I've heard a bit about. I've heard some stuff about Dele behind the scenes. Funny enough, I won't go into it, but I will say
I've heard a few as well.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, his attitude isn't the best. Modern, but I do think
when
he leaves Pep's daughter, he's like, we cannot replace him. We cannot.
you know,
you man are
listen, I think, like, don't get me wrong, man. I love Dele. Like, I love him to bits. He was incredible. Like, one of the best English players in the league. Well, even one of the best players in the league a few years back.
He was, man.
He was.
But at the end of the day, like, he's just hasn't applied himself since. I think he's genuinely got lazy with it and thinking that he can just glide past. He's on a mad salary. He's at Spurs. He's got the best training, this, that, and the other. I think he's just taking it all for granted, really. And I think genuinely for his benefit, he needs to go somewhere else. Look at how well Lingard to West Ham worked out for him. For some weird reason, obviously he decided to stay, which he shouldn't have done. But I think Dele needs to move somewhere else, man, just to kind of reinvigorate his own career and everything.
Yeah.
But there's too many.
There's
too many players like that in the team, though. There's too many passengers. Doherty is not it at all. Ndombele, I love to bits in terms of his ability, but again, today wasn't doing enough in terms of the extra, like the closing down, the going into spaces. He was just amazing on the ball, but that's all we're seeing at the moment. Lo Celso, again, Højbjerg's had the same amount of appearances now, and Højbjerg's got more goals and assists than Lo Celso. And Lo Celso was signed for 60 million, 50 million in total to be Eriksen's replacement. It's not on, man.
Is
There's
that
too
how
many
much you paid
like
for him?
No, they paid peas for him.
Lo Celso was
peas, bro.
So
Mourinho done you dirty making that permanent. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I don't even think it's Mourinho. Like, I don't even think it was Mourinho because there's a few players that Mourinho. That whole window was a shambles. By the way, at the time I thought it was amazing who we were signing because we signed in that window.
Right now, I just got the realization of how much Lo Celso.
I thought it was like
60 mil.
No, so it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be 65 million.
Oh,
right? Yeah. So we signed them on a loan to begin with an obligation or option to buy or whatever. And it was Poch at the time. So Poch was the one that was in charge when these signings happened. So I don't think it was his decision. It was Steve Hitchen. He's the guy that basically before Parity. Well, he's still involved in the club, but he's the guy that is in charge of our signing players. That window we brought in Ryan Sessegnon, Jack Clark, Lo Celso, and Ndombele for a grand total of 180 mil, 190 mil.
180.
Jack Clark can't even touch the first team. He can't even touch the first team. Sessegnon today was, oh my God. I was so excited for him to come back within 30 minutes, get sent off, and he's been injury ridden the past 2 years. 2 years.
Who came back and got sent off today, bro?
Sessegnon.
Oh, you got sent off today. Ah, bloody hell.
I
Sessegnon,
forgot
and
you even had him.
he did a full-on interview, everything, being like, "I'm excited, like this is the start of my career." Got 2 yellow cards in the first 30 minutes.
Ah,
And he was
I was
genuinely
too
excited
hyped
about
up.
it
He
as
was
well.
too pumped up. He was too pumped up. That man, I gave him candy floss, and he had too much sugar rush, man. He was just...
Exactly. So, like, honestly, and this is why I'm happy about what's happened, because already, if we're seeing Conte being like, no, this team's dead. It's on the board and leaving now. You don't get in a manager like Conte if you're not going to spend for what he wants. January is going to have to be a big window for us. A big window for us. Supposedly, we're in a similar situation to Newcastle, where we've got 150, 200 mil that we're allowed to spend from FFP and whatnot because of the lack of spending previously and whatever. So
you should have about 500 million in it.
Probably, yeah.
We say that though, bruv. These lot just what window was the 180, George?
Oh yeah,
that was the 2 windows ago, 2019. That was after the Champions League. That was after the Champions League final.
Wasn't that the only spending from like 3 years prior anyway?
Yeah, so we had 3 windows before that where we didn't spend a single penny. So that's why.
There you go.
That's
their man was saving, and then they went ham, innit?
Mod assemble.
But this is the thing, like they went ham on the wrong players, because again, like I said, it's Steve Hitchen that's in charge, and he honestly, his track record is atrocious, which is why bringing in someone like Paratici this time around was huge for us, because his what he brought in for Juventus was crazy. And obviously worked with Conte before. So hopefully, Conte, Paratici, if they start working together, supposedly already eyeing up targets. They want a left-footed centre-back, centre mid, and obviously Vlahovic is at the top of the list as well. So
Pau Torres, is that?
So Pau Torres came out, and
that would be a good signing.
We were after him in the summer. We wanted him in the summer, but he wanted he had Champions League football because they won the Europa League, didn't they?
Yeah.
So he was like, that was a big decision for him. But now we've got someone like Conte. Hopefully we can, spin it a bit and get him. So
good player, man.
If we sign him, Vlahovic, and a centre mid, that's when we can start getting a bit serious. But
if you sign Vlahovic, if you get him, do you think Kane stays? That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Kane stays actually as well? I
still think Kane stays in if we do sign him, because especially with what we're seeing with Conte's system. Obviously, at the moment at Spurs, it's a 3 at the top. So Kane in the middle, Son left, Lucas right. What we're saying about Lucas's inconsistencies, we could easily play 2 up top, Son behind, whatever. Like even Kane can play behind Vlahovic and Son.
I was going to say Kane might be the guy to do that.
Exactly.
And that might be like a remake of like what he did at Inter Milan with Lukaku and Martinez, isn't it?
Martinez.
Yeah, so, I was just thinking that. Could get it's gonna go. What we've got, Rangnick, we've got Conte getting tasty in the Premier. The Prem is getting tasty.
This is what we want.
Hey, I'm actually a little bit relieved. That Liverpool have done what they're supposed to do, and we've actually just got a little bit of like momentum, guy. Because if you're struggling a little bit, you see what could happen at United and Tottenham right now. You start to feel like, that top 4 might not necessarily be exactly what you want it to be. Do you know what I mean? And speaking of that, let's move on to obviously the upcoming games this weekend. Carrick will be in charge for this weekend, and Arteta, hopefully he can. I'm not going to call it small man syndrome, but I mean, when he was standing next to Klopp, it looked like small man syndrome. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully you can keep a lid on that. What's funny is all the Arsenal fans that I saw talk about it, they were a bit like, you don't really rail up to Klopp. Like, I was like, all right, fair dues. At least they didn't come in here talking like, he would have had him, and all that stuff. They're more like, nah, you don't go to Anfield and rail up to Klopp. That was a really bad decision. You know what I mean? So, actually, while Matt's just bringing up the fixtures for the upcoming weekend, obviously I know George was over the moon, but either one of you guys, how did you feel about what Liverpool did to Arsenal at the weekend?
It was beautiful to see, man.
Had my popcorn now. I was.
Are we all in agreement that majority of people don't dislike Arsenal? You've got like the groups that, like Arsenal are kind of like the group everybody hates, right?
Because they're doing well for a couple of games. Okay, cool. They beat Leicester and they're close to top 4, and now all of a sudden they think they can do bits. No, you're still Arsenal, bro. Like, don't get it twisted.
It's the fan base that's the worst part of it. They genuinely get too gassed too quick. So that's the problem.
You can still come to Old Trafford on Thursday and get slapped. Like, it's just what it is.
Yeah. Well, with that, then we got that game coming up in 2 weeks, right? So that's going to be real tasty.
What did we predict last week? Did I say 3-0 or did I say?
I think you said no. What did you say?
Did I go 4? I don't know if I did. I don't know if I went that.
We'll have to go.
I think you
we'll
went
have to
3.
go and check the tape.
I
think you went 3. I think. Yeah, I said 3-1.
Close. I was close.
You was.
Minamino
I must
ruined
admit,
it.
I thought it'd be a tight game. I got to be honest.
I thought it'd be
Speaking
2-1 or 3-1 to Liverpool.
I
Yeah,
said 3-1.
that's what
I
I
thought they
thought.
would score. To be fair,
I did. Well, speaking of Arsenal, we'll start with Newcastle. Are they going to bounce back, guys? Do you think? I'll start with you, Aaron. You think they're going to bounce back against Newcastle at home?
I think Newcastle are going to give him a good game, to be honest. I think this is going to end up in a score draw. I'm going to say 2-2.
Ooh,
A little
okay.
Crystal Palace regen game.
Yeah, George. How are you feeling about it, George?
Obviously, like I want Newcastle to win, and I think it's good. That, is this Eddie Howe's first, or did he do the?
Yeah, I think the understanding is that he will be allowed out of quarantine and he will be able. But I don't know how much training or anything he would have taken though.
Yeah, so that
okay.
I think that could be a bit of a deciding factor.
Mm.
Arsenal, this is the thing. Arsenal were just always like this. I feel like they get jammy results even when they don't play well. So I do think Arsenal will win probably like 2-1. But it would be amazing if Newcastle can finally start kickstarting their season.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're in trouble next year.
So Aaron's going 2-2. You're going 2-1 Arsenal. Yeah.
I think it will be, to be honest. If I'm being honest.
Cool, Matt. What do you think of the Arsenal game, bro?
I think Arsenal take this. I know Newcastle can be a bit of a danger every now and again, but I think, as you said, Eddie Howe not really implementing what he wants to in enough time as well. And I think Arsenal will probably bounce back. I'm expecting a 2-1 Arsenal, I think.
Cool. And Cal?
Yeah, Newcastle ain't got hope in hell for this game. I usually like to bet against Arsenal, but Newcastle have won none of their last 5 games. Like
they haven't won a game all season, if I'm correct.
They're bottom, aren't they? Yeah,
they're 20th in the league. Arsenal going to pam these lot. I reckon it's going to be minimum 3-0.
Well, according to Cody in the comments as well, Eddie Howe's not allowed at the Emirates.
He's not allowed.
So that makes it even worse.
You know, I'm
looking
Gucci saying Maximum could pull something out the bag. I don't know.
I'm looking at what Arsenal, Man United have just done. Looking at changing the whole culture and bringing in somebody who's of that level that everybody else does, kind of like sit up like meerkats and go, hold on a minute. Newcastle haven't done anything like that so far. And
I think they're going to do, haven't they? I swear they said that. I think I saw the other day that they've sacked or they're getting in a new director of football of sorts or some sort of level.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Put it this way, yeah. Newcastle. Let's say Newcastle were mid-table right now. Conte would have gone to Newcastle over Tottenham. No disrespect, George. It's just he's got unlimited funds there to do what the hell he wants.
Yeah, probably.
No one's going to go in there right now without that sort of comfort of knowing they're safe. Like, say for example, Newcastle look like they're going to be safe before the January window. They can look at your players like your Coutinhos and players like that. Until then, they can't really do that. So it may have to be a thing where Eddie Howe gets relegated with them, brings them back up, then they start really putting in that work.
Well, they can just do a Wolves if they get relegated, because didn't Wolves spend a crazy amount of money to get them?
Because remember, Wolves got players like Ruben Neves to leave Porto in the Champions League. To
and Moutinho as well was another one that they got because of the money.
Well, I mean, I actually meant that upstairs thing, Cal, as in like, see how Rangnick's going to move upstairs and create an actual culture at the club. Do you get what I mean?
You're not going to like this, but Eddie Howe and Michael Edwards are good friends, and Michael Edwards is leaving Liverpool at the end of the season.
I have heard rumours that.
Yeah, I've heard it.
And it does upset me.
Do you know? I think if they needed someone straight away, I think the only other man that's kind of on Rangnick's level is Luis Campos. I think he's the kind of man you need if you want to scout high quality talent for next to nothing, because his list for Monaco and Lille is disgusting.
Yes,
for the
that's spot on. You know,
just to touch on what George said there, because I've just actually realised that FP only counts in the Premier League, right? Like, or was it throughout the whole league? Throughout the whole, so can you go down to the Championship and spend what you want, or does FFP still apply down in the Championship?
I actually don't know. I actually don't know.
This could be their master plan, innit?
Because I was just going to say, if you are allowed to do what you want in the Championship and it doesn't count, which maybe, I mean, it must do. But
it'll probably count when they come back up. So they'll probably start getting like sanctions, not necessarily sanctions, but that will be taken into account maybe if they get promoted straight away again.
But the thing is, if their revenue goes up mad by then, like in that point, I don't know, it could work out.
Either way,
Mbappe slapping up Nottingham Forest.
It's a matter of when with Newcastle.
Because I was just thinking, if you are allowed to do that in the Championship, which maybe you aren't, but if you are, it could even be the bloody plan. Go down, spend whatever they want, and then just come back with that team and pass it off.
But the thing is, they've got like that 300 mil that they're allowed to spend anyway. Yeah. I think they will get out of it if they spend it wisely in January, which they definitely
do. I do as well. And obviously they're not going to get any of them from the Premier League, and it's cheaper to buy players abroad because all the Premier League clubs have blatantly said don't sell Newcastle any players. If you're the only one that are not invited to the party, they were talking about you at the party. Let's keep it real. They all there and they're all like, if Newcastle want any players, they're probably looking at Woodward like, yo, I don't care how much you want that money from Lingard. Do not let Newcastle have Lingard.
I can't lie to you. If they come with good offers for Winks and Dele Alli, they can go as pack the bags for them.
They might even want a little Taka Minamino and all that. Drift sorry to say it, bro. If Origi, they want 40 mil, bro. Yeah,
no, but I'm going to be real. They want a striker that's going to come in and hold down the fort for a minute. But he will do it. We all know that, bro. So,
I know for a fact if they want a defender that's been there, done that, experienced all of that in the Premier League, listen, Phil Jones is available.
You can actually imagine Newcastle rocking up at the beginning of the next season with a back three of like Lo Celso, Jones, and Tarkowski. Like you can just imagine it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the type of.
You mean Lascelles?
I'm sorry, Lascelles. What's his name? What was his name again?
I was going to say what man played a creative.
No, Jamal Lascelles. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Jamal Lascelles. Yeah. Because you know what I mean. That's the type of building blocks they're probably going to be looking at right now, isn't it? If they can't really get that top creme de la creme kind of player, I wouldn't even be.
I can envision if.
Man.
He's available, man. He's available.
Well, I mean, if the rumors are true and Potter does take over Leicester next year, I can see Newcastle doing a little ransacking of some Lewis Dunks and the Bissoumas, and they can take a lot of the Brian players.
Yeah. And that would be good. That would be good for them.
A little Tarkowski from Burnley as well. There's some smart moves.
He's definitely going, George. He's free, innit? His contract
his contract's up. Yeah, so he's.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they get him in
January. I think they should get him in January though. If they're being,
I think they will.
Want to stay up.
I think they will, Joe, because Burnley have to accept like 2 or 3 million if they're going to lose him for free. They're a club that can't really say no to money.
That's true.
I reckon they will. I reckon they'll get a little bit of money in January and he'll go there. So moving on quickly to the other big team, obviously, we'll be doing a preview to more people. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel tomorrow. But just quickly to get you guys' predictions on the Liverpool-Southampton game. Start with you, George. Liverpool-Southampton.
Salah's my fantasy league captain for a reason.
Oh, is he now? Okay.
Listen, like 98% of the world have him as captain. So
I was going to say,
I think they do.
No, I think like Southampton had a good period of like for a few weeks last where they were looking good defensively, and of course the 1 week I bring Livermento in, they lose to Norwich last week.
Yeah, that was a mad game as well.
Atrocious. No, I can see your team sort of running right with them, especially as it's at home. Again, probably another 3-0, something like that. I'm feeling.
Okay, cool. Aaron, what do you think of that one, bro?
Southampton have no chance against you guys. 4-0 Liverpool.
Raw. Okay. I just want to point out the only reason why I wouldn't go that far in terms of confidence is they have some of their biggest performers have been the bigger teams this season, including at the Etihad. Do you know what I mean? I personally, which is really kind of coincidental that you said it as well about Hassan Hootel. I said it last week. I rate him highly. I actually think he's a very good manager. And I think if you can do that with that dead-ass Southampton team, and remember, people are sleeping on what he did at Red Bull, you know. So I reckon it'd be a great appointment for Man United. I'm going to be honest. I'm actually kind of hoping they don't do that. I think that would be a great Man United appointment.
You can't hold 9-0 twice, whatever it was.
The same team, I think, is as well, isn't it? Man,
no, but you know, after the 9-0, didn't he go on like a 12-game unbeaten run or something, though?
You want to look around there.
Can't two
Bruv,
seasons in a row.
bruv, this could be a 9-0, bruv. You never know what's going to happen with Southampton.
Yeah,
They are actually quite unpredictable, very unpredictable team.
They are.
They've got some good players there, but then also some games they just look stinky. So I don't know what's.
So just scroll down for me, Matt. Onto Sunday, so pack Sunday, boy. So pity we ain't got Lewis here today, man. So we've got
we're not even on TV either, which is annoying.
Yeah, I hate. We're neither we this weekend. I hate it.
Sorry to cut you, Drift. We got Brighton Hove Albion and Leeds as well, by the way, for KG.
Yeah, my bad. Scroll back.
Between them both, in the last 5 games, they've got 1 win between them both.
That's a tough. Brighton started off well, and then
Brighton have won none of their games in the last 5.
I'll swear they've really fell off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but and that all started with the draw with Crystal Palace, right? I think the Crystal Palace draw was the beginning of this little slump, innit?
How many did they lose, though? I swear most of them have been draws.
I think they've lost 2. They've lost 2. 3 draws, lost 2.
3 draws, lost 2.
Ooh, okay. So,
Leeds are 17th, Brighton are 9th.
All right. So, I'm not going to lie. I'm actually worried about Leeds. I quietly think they are actually one of the favourites for relegation. I can't see how they turn this form around.
Bamford's the key for them if he comes back from injury.
But what
when is he coming back?
They don't come back and he takes a while to get back into form. I don't know. I'm worried about Leeds because I like Leeds. I like in general. I'm worried about them. So let's go. I actually think Brighton's going to win this game 2-0. Cal, what do you think?
Yeah, I've got 2-0 Brighton as well.
Matt,
Mope, I see scoring.
I've got 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Matt, George.
I think a draw, to be honest with you, because Leeds have Rafinha, Rodrigo, and is it Ayling back? I think they've got one other back as well. I feel like it's only Bamford and maybe one of them missing.
Is Rafinha back? Is he?
He's back, yeah, because he was just ill. He was just ill last week because
was he just ill? All right, if he's back, I'm gonna change my prediction.
They released today that 3 of them are back, which was Rafinha, Rodrigo, and I'm pretty sure it was Ayling.
I agree with you. I'm going 1-1 then.
I think 1-1 is what I'm feeling because I feel like Leeds and Brighton just have that result quite a few times recently. So I think they'll kind of cancel each other out. 1-1.
I agree. 1-1.
Couple Batman people like Ali in the chat saying, yeah, but then we'll get Rafinha for cheap. Just want to pick man apart and kick him while he's down.
It is what it is.
I'm not saying nothing. I've done too much tampering already.
Yeah, no, you have, Bob. You have. Aaron, what do you think of the Brighton Leeds game, bro?
Yeah, I think the same, bro. 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So Burnley, you're aware of Burnley, George. I'm going to leave you for last.
Yeah.
Actually, I want to get everyone else's opinion on this one before because you might influence everyone. So Cal, starting with you, how you feel the game will go? What's your score prediction for Burnley Spurs?
Well, we're at home, aren't we? So, gotta be honest. I mean, I know they brought in that Antonio Conte guy, but he's got nothing on me. What does he play? 3 at the back? Coward, if you ask me. If you play 3 at the back, you ain't got the minerals. If you ain't got the minerals and you're coming turf more, you're going to get turfed out. I think we smashed these lot. They're too strong. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, too much. I tell you what, Cornet. That's how you pronounce it, right? Cornet. What? Cornet. I'm a genius. You lot will talk about Ralf Rangnick and all this. I brought this guy from obscurity and look at him. He's looking like Pele and Eusebio mixed together. He is quality. And if he does it again and again and again, Ballon d'Or for Cornet. You heard it here first. Burnley Ballon d'Or for Cornet. But I don't think we beat Tottenham. I think it's going to be a draw. I had to guess it up, didn't I? I had to give you guys something.
So you go, what you go? 1-1, 2-2.
2-2.
2-2. Interesting. Matt.
Water.
Matt, what are you thinking this one, bro?
Rest that voice.
I think Burnley going to put on a... Yeah, they're going to... I'm going 1-1.
Oh, okay. Aaron, what do you think of that one, bro?
I'm going to say 2-2. I think it's going to be a score draw. Entertaining game.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think Spurs will just nick it. Burnley have actually becoming one of those teams where you think they're good, but if you check the record, they're kind of actually crap. You know, one of those deceptive teams that for some reason, they've got random results that make you think they do it. But when you actually look at the tape, you're like, oh, they're really bad. Like, they're actually
18th,
really...
We've got 1 win in the last 5.
Yeah.
That's why they're winning this game.
So I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. But George, this is your floor now, bro. How you feeling about this one, bro?
Yeah, so this is what I think. Obviously, I haven't watched them every week or whatever, but what I've seen so far of Burnley this season, I don't think they've been as good. I think Cornet's been on fire. I think he's been very good for Burnley.
That goal was
I don't think Burnley overall has been as good this year compared to previous years. They're not as solid, it seems. But the problem is, it depends what Spurs we're getting. If we're getting the first half against Leeds sort of Spurs, then it could be 1-0 Burnley, 1-0 whatever. However, I do think because of the loss today and the fact that I know we lost in the end, but the second half, when we brought on our first team players, much better already. So I think with the first team in mind and the fact that they've had this L today and the fact that Conte is going to go in on these players, we basically have to perform. But I don't think we'll score that many goals. So I think probably like a 1-0 or 2-1 Spurs win.
Fair enough. I got a feeling it might be an actual mirror of the Leeds game. I think they might take the lead.
It could. That's one because it's away from home as well, and in their record, I think it could be very, very, very similar to the Leeds match.
And then Conte gives them a massive kick up the arse at half time, and then you come out and you win the second half. Yeah, that's what my money would be on. We'll touch on the City game. Obviously, even the fact they're playing West Ham, it's actually like one of the top table clashes as well. I'm gonna go 2-0 to Man City on this one. I'll start at the bottom and work my way up. Aaron, what do you think about the Man City at home to West Ham, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-0, 2-0 as well. They've done well against PSG in the week, and I think they're gonna carry this confidence into the West Ham game as well. So, yeah, 2-0 Man City.
Cool, George.
I think same difference, but I'd say 3-1 City. I think even though Antonio's not been in form the last few games, I think he's due one. So I think especially because I think it depends who starts, because Man City confused me with their centre-backs, with 1 week being Diaz, then Stones, then Laporte and whatever. And I mean, they are defending well.
Must be nice, innit?
Yeah, it must be nice. Oh boy, if we had those options, I'd be creaming with Conte. But I think Antonio's due a goal, but I do think Man City are going to dominate the game. So I think probably 3-1 City. Cancelo's been too good, bro. This guy's ridiculous.
Yeah.
His outside the boot through balls have been insane the last couple of weeks. Disgusting.
Yeah, it's mad. Matt, what are you thinking, bro?
The only thing I can see really is a Man City win. I think West Ham will, obviously they'll do what they normally do. They give you a hard game, and I think if this wasn't Man City, maybe I would pick West Ham to win, but I only see Man City winning this one. I'm going to say City win this on top of them beating PSG, like what George said, confidence as well. I'm going to go City 2-1.
Cool. Cal?
I'm going to go against the grain here. I can see West Ham getting a result.
Ooh.
Yeah, I can.
It's not totally out of the
both have got, look, West Ham's form in the both have got equal. No, I think City have drawn, or they both won 4 out of their last 5 games.
West Ham's last game was a shock, though.
No, it was, but City are 3rd, West Ham are 4th. So on paper, yes, City, but when you look at the league, like, it's a very tight game. I can see West Ham soaking up pressure and hitting them on a counter-attack. And look, Diaz's quality, but I'll be honest, I fancy Antonio against Laporte,
That's
Stones,
why I feel like he's going to score.
And Ake. I do. And on the break, I think West Ham could give them absolute hell. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham.
Jeez.
Ooh. Damn, son.
So anyone who's trying to do accumulators where you want to boost up your average on that accumulator, there's one for you right there.
Sorry, City is second. Apologies. City is second with 3rd. Apologies. But it's a close game. I think West Ham might just do it.
That's for you.
More than you believe.
He's looking at you dead in right in the eye, Cal. Pep. As you said that, Pep's like, okay.
I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you more than you believe. And we move on to the biggest game of the weekend, obviously. I'm actually, you know what? I'm not even going to lie to you. I don't want Man United to be back. But if Man United are going to fix up, look sharp, I would want them to do it when they can take points off of a team that's trying to win the league against us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little annoyed at that because I think. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off. I actually think Chelsea are gonna clap Man United about 2 or 3-0. Like genuinely, because this is still Ollie United. Nothing's changed yet. Do you know what I mean? And I watched Man United struggle midweek, even though in the end it looked good. If you actually watched the game, it was a struggle. Do you know what I mean? And then Villarreal are a decent team. They're not rubbish or anything, but they didn't even have their main player. And I was just watching. I was just like, right, Man United, it's going to be 0-0 here. Bloody hell. So I'm gonna go 2 or 3. I'm gonna go 2-0 Chelsea to not be too disrespectful, but I don't see Man United getting a result here. I'll save Aaron for last, obviously, because it's your team, so I'll work my way down. Cal, Chelsea, Man U, bro.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron, bro. I think it could be ugly.
Speaking of ugly,
I think we could be seeing I'm gonna go 3-0. Sorry, Aaron, bro. I'm going 3-0.
Oh boy.
By the way, shout out to somebody who was just mentioned in the comments. I didn't tweet out Man United look better. I said they are making way more effort and they looked more organized. Does that mean they deliberately down-tooled on Ollie? Because that was the main thing under Ollie that they were lacking, was that, like, it didn't look like they were putting in the effort and they looked all over the place and completely unorganized. So what my point was is, did they get Ollie sacked on purpose? I mean, I don't know if you want to answer that when I get to you, Aaron, so keep that in the chamber if you want to. But I personally watched those players that played in 2 games prior or even 3 games prior, then watched the game when Ollie was gone. And to me, under the same coaching regime, they looked like they cared more. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, Matt, what do you think about that one, bro?
Yeah, I can only see a Chelsea win, to be honest. I know, obviously, there'll be like a kind of behind the scenes, there'll be like a feel good factor that Ralf is coming in, but they still got, if I'm not mistaken, it will be Carrick in charge. Things aren't going to change overnight as well. So, and I think Chelsea have been the form team in the league. Like, they are one of the hardest teams to stop. And the things with Chelsea is sometimes they don't even need to play well. They'll have moments where someone will do something, whether it's a Reece James, whether it's like, I don't know, what's his name? Even a Kante, like Kante getting on a score sheet. Like, they have players like that. Then when they're not playing well, they might be dominating the game, but they're not really creating a lot of chances. And then someone comes up and you're like, okay, cool. Kind of has another one. So for me,
Chilwell though is big.
No, but Chilwell's got an injury, I believe. I think
that's what I'm saying. No Chilwell big, because if Jadon plays on that side against Alonso, I fancy him.
That's true. But I still
say that Alonso at the start of the season was keeping
Chilwell well. Yeah, so he was.
Reece James been in the form he's in. I know what you said about Alonso.
Sorry to cut you again. Lukaku's back as well now, isn't it?
So I'm saying they're looking to eat, bro. They're looking to eat. I'm going
yesterday.
They might put this on after Watershed still.
I'm going, me personally, with their mean defense and the way how Man United play, I hate to say it, I'm going 2-0 Chelsea.
Fair enough. George, how you feel about that one, bro?
Yeah, pretty similar, really. I do think like Chelsea's defense has been amazing, but given it's United and given everything around it, I do think there will be a moment where a Rashford or someone will score. So, but I can still see Chelsea just winning the game. I can't really see United getting a win, so I'd say like 2-1 Chelsea. I think
2-1 Chelsea. So we've all gone for a Chelsea win. Aaron, the floor is yours, bro.
Yeah, I think I pretty much agree with you guys as well. This is still Ollie's team. You can still see Ollie traits. You can still see Ollie mentality. I guess one positive that you can take into this game is the fact that Maguire's not playing because he's suspended. Thank God. Because I think if he plays,
Aaron?
Yeah, he's fit.
Is Bailly fit? Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think he will play because Varane's not back from injury just yet, if I'm not wrong. So I think it will be Lindelof and Bailly. yeah, Maguire's not playing, which is good because I think if he played and with Lukaku coming back, who obviously wants to prove something to Manchester United, I believe, it could have been ugly, just like the picture that we see now. Yeah, so I think Chelsea's going to win this one convincingly, but I think, will it hurt me? Not really, because of who's coming in, obviously. So yeah, I think Chelsea will win this one convincingly. But I still want to see a couple of good individual performances. I would like to see how Van der Beek does in a big game like this, how Sancho does in a big game like this, with him being a Chelsea fan. And yeah, I just want to see, some of the big players or the big names. I hope Cristiano is going to turn up somehow. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I expect Chelsea to win this one.
What's your score prediction, bro?
I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think we can score one. I think we can score one, and it's not going to be him. So,
I mean, you got to give credit to Fred. He was the one who made the goal that won the game against Villarreal.
Yeah, no, really good game from him. Yeah. Credit where it's due, man.
Good point. That's a very good point.
You know what I mean? Maybe he's got a new lease of life without Ollie there.
Sign the contract, Fred. Sign the contract.
Someone said Fred's about to be unleashed, because I saw it on Twitter. Fred's about to be unleashed. Fred's about to be unleashed, and people were calling him Fred Davids already. So yeah.
Oh my god! You know what? Twitter is a dangerous place when it comes to football.
Fred's about to go Super Saiyan. Certain man don't know about Fred. He's about to go Super Saiyan, fam. Trust me.
Is that why his hair's pointed up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that why he's got a high top? So
he's about to go yellow.
Fred good damage. No, I'm not even gonna lie. That is hilarious. That is actually hilarious.
That is unreal.
So we come to that part of the show. It's the fantasy league time, and you can bring that up for me, Matt. I know Mr. George. I'm getting a little annoyed now because no one's even coming close to George. It's like,
nah, I'm just playing for second, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, to be fair though, KG and George both had a brilliant week.
Yeah, KG smashed it.
Yeah, they both did. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie.
Okay.
I have got Matt breathing down my neck. We are neck and neck on points. Yeah, I know.
I'm not far from Lewis, you know.
Yeah, no, I know, bro. I know. That's what I'm saying. I know.
You're gonna take Lewis, bro. You're gonna take Lewis.
100%, bro. You know, Cal is just behind me and Matt.
We're
fighting over the Europa League places right there.
Who's going to get Champions League?
KG and George are they've got the 2 Champions League spots just on lock.
Yeah, them to Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah, I was going to say Liverpool, Man City for a couple.
Yeah.
17, 18 all the way up to last season, basically.
Yeah, but no, you like KG smacked it. Obviously, he had the best week. Like, he really did well this week. I think what let me down was having 2 Arsenal players in my team.
Well, that's why I never put them in mine, bro.
Arsenal players.
But you know what? Normally, for his fee as well, my man in goal has been racking up the points for Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
racking up. I think he's only like 3.4 mil, and he's racking up the points. So I was like, you know what? Let me just put him in it. Like, it is what it is.
Your man Gerrard ruined my weekend. I had my backup goalkeeper was Brighton's backup goalkeeper, because obviously Sanchez was red carded. I had both goalkeepers, so I was like, yes, come on. For the longest time, I was like, come on. And he just went 7-2 at the end, and I'm like, you bastards.
So obviously, you know what I mean, it's heating up at the bottom. Us man are just battling over the Europa League spots, but George is out in front.
It is gonna get, if he keeps getting points away, it's gonna get close.
No, but you're clear right now. You're doing a Liverpool to a 19-20 season. Like, you are like, I'm not gonna lie, you're nearly 100 points clear, bro. Like, you are pulling away, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Without KG having that big boy week, it would look even bigger, that gap. So do you know what I mean? I don't know how any of us apart from KG could win the league, but we are only like 12 games in or whatever. So let's see how it goes.
Time. I've seen bigger downfalls.
Yeah. Let's hope you do a Newcastle, bro. That's all I'm saying. No chance.
Billionaire.
Cal, have we got any super chats before we wrap up, bro?
Sam Max Legend says, Aaron, to comfort you, Chelsea have been relegated the same number of times as they've won league titles. Let that sit there with those arrogant fans. Peace. Jeez.
Ooh,
Sam Max Legends woke up and chose violence today.
How many times have Chelsea won the league? 8 or 9? How many times have they won the league?
No idea.
I think it's
all been in the last 20 years, haven't it?
Right, they've been relegated more times than they've won the league. That's an interesting
same number,
stat.
same number of times. Same
number. Right, that is a very interesting stat. Everyone knows the club pretty much was founded in 2003, right?
Yeah, I mean they actually were trash in the 20th century, pretty much. Like,
it was a retirement home.
Aaron, what do you think of Fred? Honestly,
on and off. On certain match days, he can be amazing. On certain match days, he can be absolutely awful. So yeah, he's one of those players.
One of them ones. But is that all?
That's all of them. That's
all of them. Okay. So we come to the end of the show, people. Thanks for rocking with us. You know what I mean? It's a brilliant show. You got impressions. You got everything.
It was a funny one today.
You know,
yeah, man. Really good.
It's a good one.
I need to start coming with like a Conte impression. I need to work on that one. See.
He'll be hard, George. I don't know if we're gonna like.
Well, it takes like 3 hours to get a sentence out.
Yeah. You know what? I've got a feeling when I watch him talk, he's about to be Rago, and then he pulls it back. Like you can tell, like he goes.
This Delhi.
And you know he wants to say fucking shit, but he's like, no, let me rein it in.
I am happy. I need to bring in the players. Son, Kane is good, but we need to get 2 more defenders. I must be honest. It's not good. It's not great. It will be great, but no, I'm
That's a pretty good one already.
That is top, bro. That is top, bro.
Thank you.
You give that a little bit more practice and you'll be in
there,
bro.
Don't worry, I'll be in my mirror by myself.
I've got to start practicing. I've got to start practicing my Rangnick now.
Bloody. No, but you know what? You might be able to pull that off. You know what I mean? You might actually be able to pull that off.
Yeah,
English. It's pretty spot on.
It's basically just another Klopp and another Tuchel, isn't it? Like just the same. The German accent is just overpowering everything.
I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of hate Man United. Look like they're about to make an actual good move, man. I've been used to you lot doing the wrong thing for so long now.
It's annoying.
Yeah, bruv. Like,
if anyone's gonna mess this up, it is United, though, isn't it?
Oh, please! I want like a tweet from Fabrizio Romano.
Bro, as long as Woodward is there, we've all still got hope.
Well, Woodward pisses him off or something.
Yeah,
he's like, no, fun all this, man.
Something will go wrong. I hope, brilliant. But no, all jokes aside, I think. In my opinion, I think Man United have made a very, very good move. And even though we can all laugh and joke about Woodward, the fact remains is this: Ralf is coming to Man United and he will improve them. It doesn't necessarily have to be the manager, when he manages them. It's about when he goes upstairs, bro, and he oversees footballing activities. That's when you're probably going to see a different Man United. And that's where I think the rest of the Premier League have to watch out. But let's see what happens.
Cool, man. So, guys, make sure you go into the description and go and subscribe to everybody. Do you know what I mean? Please go and support the boys. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, subscribe to us if you're new. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification, because we do randomly go live a lot for our previews, because the previews are in the middle of the day. And, sometimes you have to schedule it quite tight. So make sure you hit that notification so you always know when we're about to go live, even if it's only within half an hour's notice or what have you. And yeah, make sure you're here tomorrow in the daytime for the preview. And then we'll be back on the weekend on the Saturday we probably won't be doing a watch along this week, guys, but we'll definitely be back for the match reaction either way. Stay tuned to the socials because we may go live before the game once the lineup's out as well. And yeah, we'll catch you next week, man. So, until next time, peace.
Laters.